We are live. Hello and welcome to podcast. I'm your host, Cassie, and I am so happy that you are here today. I am talking about why I am off of social media for 2 months. 2 months. The longest I have gone in my adult life while being on social media, without social media, has been 1 month. I have taken 1 month breaks, and it felt like a long time. But the 2 month thing, I'm stepping up my game. My intention for this episode for you today is to inspire you to find more balance in your relationship with social media and to shine light on the reasons why I am choosing to do this. Because clearly, I'm doing this for a reason. And I have two mantras for you today. So the first mantra is I aim to create more than I consume. I really like this one. It's something that I find that is very important, especially for creators. It's one thing if you are someone who just kind of goes on to check out other people's stuff, but that's another thing to think about is what are you creating in your life? Are you just constantly taking in other people's creations, which is totally fine, just having that awareness. And then the other mantra is I hold the power to create my life's algorithm. Ooh, I love that because we all talk about the algorithm and how much it screws you over and how much it has changed and how much it hides your stuff, and it's really annoying. So it's probably one of the reasons that I'm off is because I do put a lot of effort into creating what I do, these podcasts and sharing them. And when I get crickets, it's like, oh man, I put a lot of effort in, but I am at a very much better place at this point. That's actually, I wouldn't say that's one of my main reasons. It's just kind of a side effect that I do feel when I think about the reasons why I need to get off. Sometimes it's frustrating when social media feels like it's controlling who is seeing your stuff and who's not, especially when it's not a part of the narrative that is being pushed. Clearly, a lot of censorship is going on from people that are just trying to question things or speak their own truth. Again, that maybe isn't going along with the popular thing to say. So, with that said, again, mantras are I aim to create more than I consume, and I hold the power to create my life's algorithm. I love that second one. I like both of them because they're both very important. So the reason I have originally decided to do this is because one day, I don't know, maybe a month ago, I was sitting down with my usual meditation time in the morning. I usually take just like 5, 10, 15 minutes, nothing too crazy because I know myself. If I try to commit too long, I don't do it. So, and that's how I do with working out as well. I do like 15 minutes of hard workout every day. And I actually show up for it. And I've been very, very consistent. If you're watching YouTube, I'm flexing my muscles, even though they don't look very big right now. It's just the lighting. We'll blame it on the lighting. I'm very strong, trust me. So when I sat down to do this meditation, immediately, like I did a crisscross with my legs and it was like, boom, Cassie, you got to get off of social media in July and August. And this was last month that this happened. And I was like, oh no. And I always know when it's a hit from my intuition, when it's a hit from my highest self, when it's a hit from spirit, because it's something that my ego does not agree with. Like immediately my ego was like, no, we don't know. Like just kind of like, I don't think it's necessary. You kind of come up with these excuses and things like that. But I have become so in tune with my intuition that, like when I'm in the shower and suddenly my intuition's like, turn it on cold. I'm like, I know I have to do it because I've just gotten to that point where I am living more in integrity and I am listening to my soul and my spirit. And by the way, I turn on the cold shower because have you heard of the positive benefits of cold plunges and cold showers? It's so good for your nervous system. It's so good for your regulatory systems, your immune system, all of your systems, your hormone, like literally everything. It's good for everything. So I know eventually when I'm just rolling in the money, I'll probably have one of those like baths that's designed for ice baths, which sounds horrible. to my ego. And that's why I knew taking a break from social media was important, because it wasn't something that was like, I think this is important to do to just show my followers that it's okay to take a break. Like, it was nothing to do with my ego at all. That's why I knew it was important, because my ego did not want it. And so I know that sometimes when my ego is saying no, and when it's like screaming inside, it's like, okay, this is something I really need to do. So I took this message from Spirit, and it was interesting that I really did try to somehow come up with an excuse not to follow it. But there's no excuse. Like, it's only going to give me more time. It's not like, it's just going to heal all these things that I'm about to go over. So the first thing, the most important thing, is I am doing ayahuasca again in August. Now, I've talked about in my ayahuasca episodes, you can go listen to those, that there is a dieta time. So the dieta time is however long you kind of like. There's recommendations from your facilitators a couple weeks before. For the whole month before, I like to just commit myself to cleansing out all the bullshit. And that includes junk food, alcohol, um, social media. And that wasn't something that my facilitator even mentioned, but I just know how much it distracts me from myself, that if I wanted to go deeper, to take time off of social media. So this time around, I'm taking extra time off. And yes, it is at the end of August, but my soul clearly needed some more time for cleansing. And I'm not like hardcore with my diet yet. Cause like when I go in, like I really commit, and it's like no dairy, no gluten, no, I mean, I might have some gluten, but like just the process, like homemade bread, but not anything that's crappy bakery, like junk packaged processed shit. So I haven't gotten to that point yet, although I do eat pretty well. I just, sometimes I have dairy and stuff like that. So anyways, it is part of dieta for me, is choosing to do this. It's just more of an extended one this time. And I'm really curious to see the effects of this, because it's only just begun. Oh my gosh, it's day 12. I've almost gone 2 weeks. Although I have to admit, I'm gonna be honest, I open it every day. I'm like, I just have to look at my messages, and I don't scroll. I'm not like sitting there on it. Like, I really have not been on it. I just check it every day. So I'm also trying to get out of that too. Man, it's a process. That's probably why Spirit was like, you need 2 months this time, bish. Okay, soul, I'm listening. We're doing this. So another thing is that I am aware that consumption really impacts our reality. So I always talk about turning the news off. Well, social media is another form of receiving news. That's where I get a lot of news or updates or things like that from the people that I follow, like Russell Brand and whoever else who has these updates. And it does impact our reality when we are consistently consuming news stories, or even just someone else's life. Even just someone else's life. It creates comparisonitis, even subconsciously. We're comparing ourselves to these people. It's like, thinking about how much money you have versus them, or why they have that and you don't. Again, it's not even necessarily like the straightforward jealousy of being like, that bitch has everything I want, which I know I have personally healed in my life, but it still subconsciously is like helping me create more needs materialistically. And just, being influenced by all these influencers. Literally, they are called influencers. And that used to be something I really wanted to do. And I still kind of do in a way. Like, I want to be an influencer, but a really positive one where I influence people to live their best lives. Not necessarily, you have to buy this, otherwise you are missing out on your best life. And that is just consumerism at its finest, is hearing your favorite people say that they are using a product that you really probably should have. And I definitely fall victim into that. I mean, I just ordered $200 worth of supplements, and I did that last month too. And I was like, do I really need these? Probably. I mean, we don't need this stuff. Again, listen to my last episode about attachments. We don't need to be attached to this stuff. We don't need this stuff. But how much are you buying because somebody got into your ear even over and over again about what you need to buy? and this is why I'm buying these supplements. But I have to say, these supplements are the fucking best. And I'll even tell you the brand name, Symbiotica. And I follow Shervin, the creator of this company. And it's the purest stuff. Like, he's so into holistic health and eating from the earth and just really good stuff. So I really stand behind those products, and maybe someday I can be an affiliate for them because I really feel that strongly about them. And I keep buying it because it makes me feel really good. So check them out. No sponsor here, but just out of the goodness of my heart. I don't think they need any more. Like, they are just thriving right now for a reason. People are just wishing for good shit these days. Like, the supplements out there on the market, most of them are filled with citric acid and all these fillers and non-organic like crap. Symbiotica is really the best of the best, in my personal humble opinion. Alrighty, what else? So other people's ideas can seep in. When you're on social media, what happens is, even though you may be on there intentionally and like as present as possible, you still are taking in other people's ideas. I mean, the whole point of Instagram is like looking at a picture and reading a post. So when you're reading these people's words, I know for me, I really take in a lot of information and I hold it. And then oftentimes, like when I'm doing a podcast or something, this information comes through and I'm like, I don't know where I got that from. Or I even think of podcast ideas that stem from someone else, which is cool. I mean, it's great to be inspired. It's so great to have inspiration come through from someone else, of course. But how often are you taking someone else's ideas and then running with that versus actually manifesting new ideas, creating on your own? And I think that's why it's so powerful for me personally as a creator to take this time off, because now I'm going to be doing these podcast episodes straight from my heart, not from my head, not from all this information I'm gathering constantly from other people and subconsciously taking that in and then subconsciously creating an episode because I subconsciously took on all this information that I really want to share. Again, it's really great to be inspired, but having that awareness, that's always that string that is threaded through all of my episodes, is having an awareness of what the hell you are doing and why you're doing it, and being aware of like how your subconscious is actually playing out in this world and how it's affecting your decisions and what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're writing and how you're feeling. Okay. Also, another thing that I noticed, because I receive it's both ends of the spectrum. When you consume someone else's, I was going to say shit, but that's disrespectful. When you consume someone else's posts and stuff, their creations, but you're doing so without intention. So like you're doing like the whole scrolly thing, like on TikTok and on Instagram. And I know people do this with my stuff because I get a lot of views, but then I don't have any interactions. It's disheartening a little bit. A little disheartening because I put a lot of effort into these things, like I was saying at the beginning of this episode. And when we are consuming without intention and you're just like, whatever, kind of half read, scroll through, pick up what you want, blah, blah, blah. It's actually, I find it to be disrespectful to the creator. So to whoever's post you're just kind of half-ass looking at, scrolling by, maybe giving it a tap, who knows, maybe tap, a little heart. It's something that is really interesting to be aware of, because these people like me, we're creators and we put a lot of time and effort, and it's a part of our job to be doing this kind of stuff. And when our shit, our posts are being glanced over or glazed over, or just kind of like not like half looking at it. And it's okay not to like look at all of my stuff or look at everyone's stuff. But when we're doing so, we should do it with intention, because why are you actually on the site? Are you there to actually look at someone's stuff and get inspired by them and see what they're saying? Or are you there to distract yourself and be like, not next, scroll. So, and that's why a lot of creators are creating like shorter reels and things like that, just trying to like hack the system, hack the algorithm so their stuff can get watched. But now it's making creators not create as much or as best as they can, because they're trying to suit the algorithm and suit the people that have such a short attention span, which is all of us. That's all of us. And that's what social media is a place where we go because we are bored and we're at a stoplight and we just need to like fill the void for a second. So it's just really great to be aware of that and to consume other people's stuff with intention, and to consume and to create things with intention. Why are you throwing that thing up? Why are you throwing that picture up? Are you throwing that picture up that, you look really good? Are you doing that? And I've done this many times. We all have done this probably. A little ego boost. Oh, how many likes am I getting? Ooh, I hit an amount of likes today that I've never hit before. I must look better than I ever have. Yet the picture is like edited and you're like posed in a way that it's not even how you stand in real life. It's so ridiculous when you think about it, right? It's so ridiculous. But it's amazing. I love this platform, and I'm not trying to just sit here and shit on it, because I'm clearly taking a break because I've been so attached to it for so long, and I've loved it for so long for many, 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 many reasons. But today I'm here to talk about why it's important to take a break from this amazing thing we call Instagram. And for me, it is Instagram. A lot of people are attached to TikTok or Facebook. I really loathe Facebook. That's the place where I think it's because it's not following people, but you're friends with people. And so like you see the people's stuff who you're friends with, and it's not like you can just unfollow them. I mean, there might be settings and stuff you can do, but and that's another thing. Maybe we need to just clean out the things that we're looking at. But Facebook is like, it doesn't feel as good to me, because in Instagram, I feel like I create my own reality and I follow the people that I want to see, But on Facebook, it's like, well, that's a longtime friend or an old acquaintance or a family member that, we're friends, and it's just important to be friends on Facebook, I guess. I don't know. But so that is something to think about, is when you're consuming and creating, are you doing it with intention? Like really, really think about that. How often do we just like take things in? Because our subconscious is always taking things in, even if we're not completely intentional with it or completely aware or present with it. We're still taking in this information constantly. We need to like slow down so our brains have a break from consuming so much. And there's also ads nonstop. It's unavoidable. Like I said, influencers, they influence our decision making and our buying habits. And like, oh my God, I need to have this latest thing. And the ads come through so natural. They seem so natural now. This is where everyone markets these days, because they know how prevalent social media is. So there's so much marketing going on, whether it's for a course that you think you might need. Like even for me, like I talk about my coaching. I'm trying to sell my coaching in the most authentic way possible, at least for me. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that are just pushing for sales and wanting to get as many people as possible. And it's really clever marketing. And I know a lot of people that have wasted money on stupid things. I've wasted my money on a couple of things that just, it felt like I needed at the time. And it was because I was influenced while I was on social media. What do you know? Your brain gets like soft in there, and then suddenly you're like a zombie, and then you're like, whoa, I need this. It's going to solve my life. So be aware of the ads that are just constantly coming through when you're on there. This is, like I mentioned, it's very ego boosting, because there's just a validation that comes with getting any kind of likes. Even if it's from a few people, it's like, okay, people are seeing me, people are validating me, I am worthy. It's this false sense of validation, false sense of worthiness that you already have. Like you are already worthy. I talk about this. You are born worthy of love, of recognition, of being seen. But social media allows you to get that boom, instant gratification of, yeah, she liked that. So she saw me in that picture where I was looking good. Maybe she even read my words, and maybe I made an impact. Who knows? Like it's just such a validation of self that is coming from strangers oftentimes. Maybe it is people that like on Facebook and stuff, but either way, it's just an interesting thing to zoom out on and to realize that we don't need validation from strangers or even anyone. We don't need validation. We are worthy. We are valid as we be. We are super valid. We're super duper valid. So if you're feeling addicted though to social media, it's probably because you are needing to be seen in a certain way, or you are feeling a void of some sort. And I'm not telling you, I'm talking from my own experience. So I'm not just being like, hey, you out there, you're addicted. I was fucking addicted. That's why I'm taking a goddamn break. I'm listening to my soul. Are you listening to your soul? Okay. And speaking of the mantra of I have the power to create my own algorithm, you can reset your own algorithm by getting off of Instagram because you are in charge of what you are seeing and what you are pulling into your reality. So that's just something to think about. My algorithm right now is full of birds outside, morning walks, deer. I was walking up the hill the other day and all of a sudden this deer came around the corner and it was like, turned its head. And it was like a deer in headlights. And I looked like a deer in headlights because I got freaked out because it was like out of nowhere, this deer popped out, this really big deer. And I was like, and it kind of, I think that scared the deer. That's my excuse for it running away from me because I like to think I'm the real life Snow White, where I just have all of these animals swarming towards me and loving me. And I also saw a little baby bird in a nest today. The mama bird's always there, so I always see the mama bird protecting. I'm like, I don't know if there's eggs in there, but today the mama bird wasn't there, and so I peeked real quick because I didn't want to like freak it out or anything. And there was a little baby like bird that's not even, it's like still goo. I don't even know what phase it's in right now, but it was so cute. I think it was just a big fur ball with a beak. That's all I saw. So that was a nice little piece of my algorithm for my day was this cute little bird and the deer and the sunshine and all of the beautiful things. Like look up. That's something to think about when you're on social media. We're looking down, 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 down. I hate it. And when I see, like, do you ever see other people that are on their phones, or like you're around other people that are on their phones and you get kind of like triggered or upset by it? That means that you might need to heal your own relationship with that. Because when I see other people like walking on a beautiful day, but their head's in their phone, which I do all the time because I'm playing Wordle when I'm walking. And I want to tell these people, like, listen, I'm not scrolling social media. I'm just playing Wordle right now. But either way, like my head is still on the phone. So take the time to look up at the sky. The sky is one of my favorite places. I love the sky. I really do, because the clouds are different every single day. Like I don't even know. It's kind of like a fingerprint every day in the sky. There's no like um, sky that's ever the same unless it's like clear blue skies, But when there's really cool clouds, like today, there's such cool poofy, puffy clouds, and then the sun was peeking behind it. I felt like I was in a goddamn Hallmark card or something. It felt so cool. And we don't see that stuff when our head is in the phone. So like, come back to reality, boop, boop, come back to reality, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there's old man. No, but okay, sorry. So let's reset our own algorithm and look at the birds a little more. Look at the sky, okay? And also, it's really interesting with the algorithm that is put in front of us. It's designed in certain ways for a reason. It's designed to trigger us sometimes. Like, notice what you're seeing, notice what you're being shown. Sometimes like you might be pissed off at seeing someone's thing or an ad or whatever, and you're like, holy shit, I totally do not agree with that pisses me off. Think about that. Like, you're getting mad from the little screen that you're looking at because of this algorithm that's curating your brain. Or so it either like A, triggers you, B, makes you want to buy something, or C, reinforces your beliefs, which can be really, really good and positive, or negative or bad, or a belief that's not working for you. So, wow, our brains are being manipulated all the time, even if it's just reaffirming our beliefs. Because who do you follow on Instagram? The people you want to follow, people that probably think maybe kind of like you. So that's reaffirming your reality, reaffirming your beliefs. So it's just important to maybe follow people that you don't agree with. I do follow a couple people. A couple times I'm like, I want to unfollow. I'm like, no. I'm not going to sit here and be triggered. I want to like practice my patience and listening to people that I do not agree with. It's a really good practice. If you're on social media and you don't feel like taking a break, at least like give yourself something else to think about or listen to. There was an example of this podcast I was listening to. This man did his own little experiment. He decided to constantly look up and watch police like brutality videos to see how it impacted his thought process and his thoughts about police. And then on the flip side, he also like for like a week or two, and then the next week or two he was watching like the opposite of like, the Black Lives Matter, or no, that was the Black Lives Matter, the opposite of like really good police being treated poorly. So it's just like two ends of the spectrum that he was feeding into his subconscious by watching these videos constantly. Again, like 1 or 2 weeks with this side on the police, and then 1 or 2 weeks of like, like one side of cancel the police and one side of like the police are heroes. And he said that even though he was conducting this experiment for himself, he literally felt himself feeling certain ways about the police one way or the other because of what he was feeding himself, even though he knew he was doing this experiment. So as much as we know we are intentional on social media, it is still impacting us. And that is very, very important to understand. Yes, I'm in control. I know what I'm doing on social media. I'm consuming intentionally. Yes, but we still are being influenced, and we just have to recognize that. And just as a closing thought, social media is just a huge distraction. Okay. That's really the biggest reason I believe my spirit told me to get off, because I need to focus in on me. I need to really get rid of all the outside noise, whether it's good, bad, ugly, pretty, and create my own reality and figure out what that is. Like, create what reality wants to come through me without being influenced intentionally or unintentionally from people that I'm constantly watching, or other people's lives that I'm constantly consuming. So listen to my last episode that was really good about how attachments are distractions from self. I highly recommend that episode. I just listened to it myself and it got me pumped up. Man. So just thought I'd throw that in there, like, because that does go along with the attachment that we all do have to social media. So we want to make sure that we're tapped into our inner truth and that our minds are not being manipulated, that we feel like we're not having to take pictures all the time, selfies, to plan a post, but rather to be present with ourselves. Because I was listening to Aubrey Marcus, and he was even saying, like, he tries to take breaks from his phone and stuff like that. It's really hard for him because he's a creator too, and it's an attachment that a lot of us have. So when we're able to take a break from that, listen to our inner truth, feel into what we're actually feeling instead of how we're reacting to what we're seeing, it completely changes our reality. So I was going to say something else and I totally forgot. Not present with self. Okay, I'll leave it at that, and I'll be mad when I listen back to that and I'll be like, I remember what it was. Whoops, that's okay. So thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode today. It is episode number 39. Whoa. Originally in my episodes, I was like doing season 1, 2, 3, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just doing just labeling each episode. So if you listen to old episodes, I'll be like, this is season 2, episode 3. Not doing that anymore. We're just doing like episode numbers, and this is episode 39. So that's pretty cool. I kind of want to make a goal of how many episodes I want to do by the end of the year. But like I said, I want to do more of these, and it's going to be a lot easier, especially now that I'm not distracted by social media. And I'm really interested to see how these episodes come through, because typically I'm inspired by a lot of the things that I'm seeing, which is really cool. But like, this is going to be more authentic, more and more authentic. The Cassie DeSarro podcast, coming from Cassie DeSarro. So anyways, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here, for supporting, for sharing, for liking, for subscribing. Oh my God, I'm so greedy. I need all the things. Not really, but it really would help out. Not just my ego, but just my entire platform to expand in order to reach more people, to touch more lives, to help more people. That's ultimately why I'm doing this. I don't even have ads on my podcast because I just want you to be able to experience this for what it is, so you're not distracted, so you're not hit with all these ads and things like that. Who knows, I might do that in the future, especially if I get more viewers and listeners. I would love to be making money from this and have like podcasting be my job. Anyways, I like coaching too. I mean, coaching is like my life force. I love it. It's so great. If you're looking for a coach, feel free to email me. It'll be in the show notes, my email. And if you're listening on a platform streaming this, I am also recording this live on YouTube, so you can go ahead and check that out. Thank you so much for listening. I am just so grateful for you. I hope I inspired you to maybe have a little bit more of a healthy relationship with social media if it's not already. If it is, send me your tips. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will catch you next time on podcasts.